Hi, CEO members. I want to talk a little bit about testosterone, and I want to hit on some research that has been done for men and women. And I'm going to start a series of why optimizing our hormones, both men and women, is going to be critical for long-term health. Within the 5 pillars, of course, we have God-given quality foods, the world's best nutritional supplements, science-based or water from a medical device, science-based exercise, rest, and recovery. In pillar 2, science or the world's best nutritional supplements, I think that I should add a slash or an asterisk there and say let's optimize bioidentical hormones. So when we talk about testosterone, most commonly it's thought about as a man's hormone, and it is true that men have higher levels of testosterone than women. But that doesn't mean it isn't equally as important for women as it is for men. Both men and women have more testosterone receptors in our hearts than anywhere else in our body. And women have about an average of 1 in 37 or 38 women will die from heart disease before menopause, and it goes to 1 in 2 after menopause. And what changes? Hormone levels are a big part of what changes after menopause, the biggest change for women. So this obviously is extremely important for both sexes to understand. So let's just hit on a couple of quick research studies that have been done and why having optimal, I didn't say the normal levels on the blood test today, because remember, normal is based on average, normal is based on sick, fat, diabetic, waiting to have a heart attack, waiting to have cancer. We don't want to be normal in any stretch of the imagination when it comes to our health. We want to optimize and be optimal in every way possible. So one of the things that I want to talk about is this. When we think of testosterone in a man and we look at the studies, why do we want to maximize that? Why do we want to optimize those levels? Well, if you look at the study, the higher a man's free testosterone is, and it's very important at this point for men and women. We don't just want to know total testosterone. We want to know free testosterone, because that's what's available to the cells to actually be used. So free, F-R-E-E, testosterone levels are critical for us to know, just like our fasting insulin, just like our A1C, just like our homocysteine, just like our HSCR reactive protein, just like our, what am I thinking about? Oh, our free T3, our free T4, our TSH, all these levels we need to know. But getting back to the testosterone. So the research shows that the higher a man's free testosterone level, the lower their plaque score, so the blockage in and around the heart and the arteries, the lower their carotid intermedial thickness score. So in other words, a lot of people have strokes because they get that plaque buildup, that thickness in these carotid arteries that run the blood to the brain. So the higher the free testosterone levels in a man, the less risk of having that thick buildup in the carotid arteries, and the lower their plaque scores, where we have the buildup in and around the heart and the other arteries of the body. So if heart disease is the #1 killer in America, and we know that plaque plays a critical role in that, and we know that free testosterone levels being higher makes less of that, and it makes less of this thickness in our carotid arteries, then obviously that's a big deal, and we want to maximize that. Not to mention that when we have optimal testosterone levels, we'll build muscle easier, we'll look better, we'll burn fat better, we'll have lower insulin and lower blood sugar levels. Every marker of health improves when we optimize testosterone levels for both men and women. Now, when it comes to the female group here, higher free testosterone levels was linked to lower rates of breast cancer. And that was in both premenopausal and menopausal women in that study. Now, the reason that we think that is true is that testosterone, much like progesterone, which during this series we're going to dive into both, is what we call an apoptotic hormone, which means that it creates apoptosis, which is a definition of natural cell death. Remember, every cell in our body has a limited lifespan, and it should be replaced. It should die off and be replaced. When those cells don't die off and they go rogue, we'll call them, That is how a lot of cancers can be started, how a lot of senescent cells, bad cells that we need to get rid of, can kind of go rogue. So testosterone is an apoptotic hormone. So it goes to show that the study goes to show that the higher the free testosterone levels are in women, the lower their rates of cancer before menopause and after menopause. So we can make some assumptions from these studies. We can assume from the study done on men that if it reduces plaque and it reduces carotid intermedial thickness in men, we can assume, and we will be assuming, and I will search to see if I can find research on this, but that it would do the same for women. That if it does it in a man, that we certainly would assume that it would do it in a woman to lower their plaque scores and their carotid artery thickness, intermedial thickness is called. And we can probably assume also that if it reduces breast cancer in women, that there would be a high likelihood that it would reduce the incidence of prostate cancer in men, because those tissues, the breast and the prostate, are very similar between a man and a woman. Same kind of tissues, same kind of cells. So it may reduce other types of cancer. And again, I'm going to dig deep into the studies and see what else I can find as we go. But it's needless to say that testosterone levels have dropped precipitously for men and women over the past several decades, as we're around more plastics, more chemicals, more glyphosate, more atrazine, more EMFs, more poor nutrition, more processed foods. 70 cents out of every dollar in America is spent on processed foods, or let's just call it junk foods. So I hope you understand, and if you want to do a consultation, it's a great thing that we can get your hormone levels and talk about how to find a provider who really understands how to optimize not only your testosterone levels, but the other hormones that we're going to dive into, like estradiol for women, progesterone for women, estradiol for a man, DHEA for a man and a woman, pregnenolone for a man and a woman. So these are critical hormones to age well, to add life to our years, to feel good, to look good, to have better skin, better hair, better nails, better body composition, better brain health. Testosterone is tremendous for brain health, better bone health, overall quality of life improvements when hormones are maximized, optimized, and put in levels that give us the chance to revive, thrive, and optimize.